Herbs make any meal taste better, especially when they're picked fresh from your own garden. I'll show you how to plant and care for a herb garden so you'll have a good supply for the kitchen.
Herbs can be planted at any time of the year, but some are seasonal, so check the tag before you plant. You can plant straight into garden beds or in pots, inside and out.
Plant somewhere with lots of light and in a place that doesn't get too wet. Good drainage is really important too. Also, think about locating them in a handy place close to your kitchen.
There are two types of herbs. Annuals like parsley, basil and coriander need to be replanted each year. Perennials like thyme and rosemary can live for more than 2 years.
And one plant of each herb type is generally enough for your garden. That'll give you space for more variety too.
Herbs don't do well in soil that's overly rich or dense, so grab some of this herb mix, which is nice and coarse, and work it through your existing soil.
We've laid out all of our herbs, put them roughly 30 to 50 centimetres apart to give them a little bit of room for growth. We've put things like thyme and rosemary on the edges because they do take up a little bit more room. Thyme can also crawl over the sides, so you're also optimising on that space, not overcrowding the middle of the garden.
And a handy tip if you're growing mint, plant it in a separate pot as it tends to run and take over a bed. Next, dig your holes.
Now it's a good idea before planting any herb into a bed to soak it in a seaweed tonic. This just helps reduce the stress from the transplant into the ground. And just gently take it out.
Pop it in the hole, backfill, and then gently press down. And finally, water in. Herbs also make great companion plants, which means that when planted alongside certain other plants, they help deter insects, attract pollinators, and can even improve the flavour of the neighbouring plant. For example, basil is great planted next to tomatoes.
There's a detailed list of some of these effective combinations on our website.
Water your herbs regularly, and if they're in pots, make sure they don't dry out. Feed every couple of weeks with some veggie and herb liquid plant food. It has the right NPK ratio for herb plants with an extra dose of nitrogen in for their foliage. Adding a layer of mulch will help keep the roots moist and keep the bed weed-free.
Herbs aren't generally affected by pests and diseases, but if you've got yours indoors, then lack of sunlight and airflow can reduce
Plant productivity and attract insects like whitefly.
If you spot anything you're not sure of, just take a photo and bring it in store, and we'll sort you out with the right product. So when harvesting your herbs, there's a few different ways to do it. With thyme, try and work from the outside in, because it's a bit of a twiggier kind of herb. With more leafy herbs like parsley, harvest the whole leaf. And with chives, it's a good idea to harvest them roughly 2 centimetres from the base. And then with something like rosemary that tends to form a sort of a woodier shrub, it's a good idea to keep it more compact so you'll get more new growth at the top. Harvest these shoots because they've got the best flavour.
With your annual herbs like basil, parsley and coriander, pick flowers as soon as you see them to stop them from going to seed. If they do, the flavour tends to change and they can become bitter.
And that's how to create your very own herb garden, easy as. Now it's time to dig out the cookbooks.